Welcome to Revelation Unraveled. I'm your host, William Tapley, also known as the third eagle of the apocalypse and the co-prophet of these end times. On this program, I want to continue debunking the flat earth nonsense which we see all over the internet these days and all over YouTube. And I'm doing this as a continuation of my last program, in which I used the moon to demonstrate that really all heavenly bodies are spherical in shape, and therefore the earth also must be a sphere. And I found out that these flat earthers are very likely a government psyops. And the reason I say that is because the immediate response that video received, I got hate comments almost immediately, dozens and dozens of them, and all kinds of thumbs down on my video. And I began to realize that it was a coordinated effort. This was not just random people happening to come upon my video. And very few of them, if any, were my real subscribers, who I recognize by now. And these people who were commenting were all different. I had never seen them before. They all pretended to be Christian. They all opposed the government, and they all supported the flat earth nonsense. And they disagreed with all the points I made in my video. One of my subscribers, several hours after that video was posted, pointed out to me that it could be a government psyops. Well, that got me thinking. Maybe I should do a little research into what a government psyop is. And so I downloaded this article from Wikipedia, and I want to read you the salient points because there are 4 different psyops. And I believe this flat earth psyop is the most sinister type of all. The first is a white psyop. A white psyop is attributable to PsyOp as a source. White is acknowledged as an official statement or act of the United States government. For example, the Voice of America is a white psyop, or emanates from a source associated closely enough with the U.S. government to reflect an official viewpoint. The information should be true and factual. Now that's important because, as we'll see in the next 3 types of psyops, the information does not have to be true or factual. And that's because the government does not admit that this is a psyops program. And the next is a gray psyop. The source of the gray psyop product is deliberately ambiguous. The true source, that is the United States government, is not revealed to the target audience. The activity engaged in plausibly appears to emanate from a non-official American source or an indigenous non-hostile source, or there may be no attribution. Now that's important, non-hostile, because as we will see in the next 2 types of psyops, they are from supposedly hostile sources. And that's very important in this flat earth nonsense. A black psyops. The activity engaged in appears to emanate from a source, that is a government, party, group, organization, person, usually hostile in nature. In other words, it's the government, but they do not tell us that it is the government. The interest of the United States government is concealed, and the U.S. would deny responsibility. Now, a lot of people think that maybe the government doesn't have psyops operations. This is a mistake. In fact, the United States government has a department in the United States Army which officially promotes psyops and organizes psyops types organization. And in fact, they have their own insignia, believe it or not. And as you can see, their motto is persuade, change, influence. So now let's look at this 4th and final type of PsyOp, and that is a covert PsyOp. is not a function of the U.S. military. In other words, this could be hidden anywhere in the bowels of the United States government. And with the Barack Obama administration, who knows where it comes from. Instead, is used in special operations due to their political sensitivity and need to higher level compartmentalization. I'm not sure what they mean by compartmentalization. So now let's look at some of these flat earth claims. And I think you will see who is behind these videos and who they are targeting. That is, who do they consider the hostile force. And I want to look at the effects of the sun and use how the sun can be proven to show that the earth is in fact a globe. And I want to use a very simple explanation of the sun's movement across the skies, and for that purpose I have a wiffle ball here. As you can see, if I put the wiffle ball next to my head, it is about, a little smaller than my ear. But as I bring it closer to you, you will see that it increases in size until it is larger than my ear. And as it recedes, it becomes smaller than my ear once again. Now I know you, my subscribers, are probably laughing at this silly demonstration. Why? Because even a kindergartner understands that principle. It's like a plane flying overhead. As a plane approaches you, it gets larger. As it moves away from you, it gets smaller. Well, the sun on all of these flat earth models would do the exact same thing. They all say that the sun is about 3,000 miles over the plane of a flat earth. In other words, 3,000 miles overhead, the sun would be the size of, probably 100 jetliners. It would have to be in order to be visible at that size. But when it moves, let's say 8,000 miles away, for example, is the distance between Jerusalem and Los Angeles, it would have to appear almost 1/3 the size of the true sun. And of course, we know that doesn't happen. Call up a friend of yours in Jerusalem in daytime and see if the sun is 1/3 the size. Now, some flat earthers say, well, this is due to perspective and the vanishing point. Well, let's take a look at this railroad track. And it's true, the railroad track vanishes in the distance. But if that were true for the sun would also vanish in the distance. It never goes below the horizon. It can't. The sun would eventually become tiny, as small as a star, and then it would approach the vanishing point. But as I say, all of us knows from experience that the sun is the exact same size when it sets over the horizon or rises over the horizon as it is when it is directly overhead. So now I want to look at the official flat earth model, and you will find this on many of their websites and in many of their videos. And this is from Flat Earth Wiki. That's the name of their website, and I will put a link to it below. And right away we see there are two major problems. First of all, notice that the sun does not light up half of the globe. But we know from experience that when the sun is shining, half of the globe is in light, the other half is in shadow. And on this model, it looks like maybe 1/3 or 1/4 of the earth is lit up at any one time. Now, the other major problem with this model is that Antarctica is never lit 100%. And we know in the middle of winter up here, that is on December 21st, there is 24 hours of sunlight in the Antarctica, just as there is in the Arctic. So this model is completely bogus, and I hope you people are not convinced by this kind of nonsense. Also, take a look at the shape of Australia in this model. Let's take a close-up view. As you can see, Australia on this model looks like it is 5 times longer as it is wide. That is totally absurd. In fact, if you can include Tasmania, the height of Australia, that is north to south distance, is almost the same as it is east to west. So as we can see, all of these models, all of these suggestions from the flat earthers go against not only science, but common observations. So how do we know this is a government PsyOps? Well, it's very simple. Watch some of their videos. Practically all of them attack the government or an agency of the government, such as NASA. And who is the hostile group? The hostile group is practically always Bible-believing Christians or 9/11 truthers. Watch any of their videos or read the comments which they post below this video or my previous video. They almost always identify themselves as Bible-believing Christians. They almost always attack the government. Therefore, since this is a PsyOps, you know that these videos come from the government and they are opposing Bible-believing Christianity. Now you might say, why would the government do such a thing? Well, any of you familiar with this Barack Obama government, I think you understand their motives. Their goal is to make Christians look like idiots. And I am not even going to bother to answer you people anymore unless I think there is a possibility you are simply ignorant. And I know some of my subscribers have been fooled by this flat earth hoax. And if you government shills pretending to be Christian would really like to know about the Bible, especially the prophecies of Daniel, Ezekiel, Zechariah, the Olivet Discourse, the Book of Revelation, and many others, visit my ThirdEagleMedia.com website.